man's being held over a bridge. The time for him to pay back drug boss Nino Brown has passed. Nino don't use no collection agencies. He's a hands-on type of cat. No amount of excuse is gonna save dude. No late fees or extensions. With Nino, you late, you die. Gotta read the fine print, player. Scotty is trying to make a drug purchase from dealer Pookie. Pookie has turned the transaction into let's make a deal with all of his haggling. When Pookie asks Scotty to show him the money, Pookie grabs it and runs. The chase goes through the park. Pookie fires a shot at Scotty and Scotty returns fire, striking Pookie in the leg. Scotty jumps Pookie as the wind blows the money all over the basketball court. Scotty is an undercover. Scotty places Pookie under arrest and then expels the money-grabbing crowd. A passerby, Kareem, joins the onlookers as the bus plays out. B-Boy G Money walks through an admiring crowd onto the basketball court. He takes bets on his ability to make a jump shot. Swish. He makes the shot and collects his winnings. He then joins the two cats from the bridge, Nino Brown and the Dudda Man. Together, Nino Brown and G Money head up the Cash Money Brothers, CMB for short, an ambitious drug-dealing partnership. G Money presents Nino with a new street product that's potent and highly addictive. The fiends can't get enough of it. Nino agrees to take his partner's idea under consideration. Nino's crew meets up at the nightclub. Scotty is hanging out in the cut, taking notice of the movements of the players. Nino and G Money are joined by the same onlooker from the crowd of the earlier undercover bus, Kareem. Kareem's the money manager of the outfit. Kareem's cousin Selena is also there. She's Nino's old lady. Nino sets the table. He's about to change up the game, starting with the product, crack. Nino proposes a rather bold move. He's going to take over an entire apartment complex called the Carter to set up his operations. He bum rushes the residents of the apartment. They either comply with CMB or die. Lastly, they get rid of any loose ends, be it rival drug dealers in the area or the legal owners of their targeted assets. A few brave members of the neighborhood find themselves helpless and take their complaints to the police. They get no resolution. The rise of the Cash Money Brothers has not gone completely unnoticed. Officer Stone is proposing a task force to his superiors that will bring down CMB. He wants to recruit 2 officers known for coloring outside the lines, the aforementioned and currently suspended Scotty, and a lone wolf officer, Peretti. The captain is reluctant but decides to give Stone the requested resources. Now Stone has to sell the idea to these 2 cops to join his unit. He convinces them that if they want to bring down CMB, they're gonna have to work as a team. Nino's ascension has also gotten the attention of his previous partners, the Mafia. Nino has gone outside previous arrangements with the Mafia and reached out to new suppliers. Nino sends the Mafia's messenger, Frankie, back home with notice that CMB is doing their own thing and that they work for no one. G Money warns an unconcerned Nino that he's crossing some dangerous lines. Frankie reports back to his boss, Don Armedio. Armedio assures Frankie that Nino will come to his senses and things will return to as they were. Scotty and Peretti set up surveillance on CMB. It's Thanksgiving and CMB are handing out turkeys to their victimized community. A guy shoves his way to the front of the line, acting all familiar. It's Pookie. Scotty IDs him as the kid that he shot. Pookie is no stranger to Nino. Nino is dismayed by Pookie's decline towards becoming a crackhead. Nino gives Pookie a whole turkey and offers Pookie a job when he gets his shit together. Pookie shares Thanksgiving with his lady in the drug den. Scotty follows Pookie and Pookie tries to get away. After yoking up Pookie, Pookie breaks down and cries that the rock got him on lock. Scotty checks Pookie into a rehab facility. Well, he sort of forced him into it. Scotty watches over Pookie's recovery as the withdrawal wrecks his body. Pookie goes through the program and comes out on the other side. He feels in debt to Scotty and volunteers to assist him in bringing down CMB. Pookie lands the gig that Nino offered him. He gets inside the operation and observes the ins and outs, the entrances, the procedures to move from floor to floor, the labs where the product is made, butt naked, and the drug dens where the product is consumed. It's a new year and CMB celebrates their success. Nino pulls G Money aside for a heart-to-heart, brother-to-brother conversation. He He pledges his brotherhood and appreciation to G-Money. The crew get a visit from Frankie and his thugs. They don't come empty-handed. They come with a present from the boss, Don Armedio. Nino opens the package and it's a black lawn jockey with a rope around his neck. Nino doesn't find this to be humorous and cracks Frankie over the head with a bottle. He sends the clowns away with their tails tucked between their legs. Nino takes note of Uniqua, a stripper honey that G-Money brought to the affair. She's eyeballing Nino like she's gotta have it. Nino alludes to G-Money to let him know if he can't handle all that. The party moves to private quarters for the couples. Nino is riding on a high, and Uniqua is his perfect little cheerleader. G-Money is feeling minimized and left out. He getting mad at Uniqua for getting loose. But hey, player, stripper's gonna strip. I mean, it's right in the name, man. Meanwhile, Selena is sulking like a wet mop. Uniqua jabs at Selena's inability to have a child for Nino. I wonder where she heard that. G-Money out here gossiping like a schoolgirl. Nino said, watch out, let me get some of that, and got in a few jabs of his own. Nino goes after Selena, but not necessarily to console her, but to continue his verbal attack. Nino on one tonight. After letting Selena know that she don't bring anything to the table, Nino returns to enjoy the rest of Uniqua's performance. It's time for Pookie to put in that work. Stone just now finding out about Scotty's plan, and he ain't too pleased. But the bus done already left the station, so they go ahead and wire up Pookie. Plan is for him to acquire enough evidence against the CMB operation to bring it down. Pookie is approached by Kareem, who has recognized his success of bringing in new customers. G-Money promotes Pookie from runner and watchman to working on the inside. All of this is caught on video. Not caught on video is G-Money telling Kareem to keep an eye on Pookie cause the cat still got that crack tendency in his DNA. Stone expresses his reservations to Scotty about putting a crackhead in a house of crack. Scotty lets Pookie know that he's got a lot riding on him. Yeah, one way to expedite the cracking of a crackhead is to put too much pressure on him. Way to go, Scotty. During Scotty's sermon, we learned that his mom was randomly gunned down on the street. He also dumps that weight on Pookie's fragile plate. Pookie didn't have nothing to do with that, man. Pookie's working the gig. Rocks and titties, titties and rocks. Well, you can't put a man around rocks and titties for 8-hour shifts and not expect him to break. Either the titties gonna get him or the rocks. Pookie samples the product and thus begins the fall of the first domino towards relapse. Pookie tries to fight the good fight, but that crack pipe be talking shit to him. One thing leads to another, and Pookie done reached his final form, crackhead. Crackhead gonna crack. It's right in the name, man. Pookie in the lab acting a fool. G-Money and the Dada Man enter the lab to see what's going on. They search Pookie and find out that he's wired. Pookie done got exposed. The cops monitor G-Money's orders to kill Pookie and then torch the place. Pookie pleads for Scotty's help. The workers torch the joint and booby trap it with explosives. Parady gets inside and finds that the records have been either destroyed or removed. Scotty calls out for Pookie only to find him all fucked up. I don't know how they could have got his neck twisted like that. It goes without saying, Pookie, he dead. G-Money gotta make a tough phone call. Harder than telling your mama you married a white girl. He calls Nino and old girl Uniqua answers the phone. G-Money gets all salty about losing a chick that never was his to begin with. He delivers the bad news to Nino that they had to blow up the operation. Nino is like, alright man, as long as you're okay. Nah, Nino is pissed. It's time for an all-hands crisis meeting. Nino wants answers and is quiet enough to hear a gnat fart twice. Props to Keisha and the Dada Man for knowing to keep their mouth shut. Nino calls out G-Money's inability to handle things. G-Money is slow to learn that maybe Nino's questions are rhetorical and that sitting down and shutting up might be the best move. Nino continues to rage. Hey player, you might want to take your hand off the table. Ouch. And this here is a milestone in black history. It marked the end of an era where light-skinned players ran roughshod in these streets. I think it was Prince who cracked the door open. Next thing you know, pretty boys were falling out of the sky. Al B. Sure, Howard Hewitt, Switch, minus the trumpet player. L. DeBarge, Eco DeBarge, shit, the whole house of DeBarge. And of course, Christopher Williams. It trickled down from celebrity to everyday players. I'm sure all y'all had a pretty Ricky in your high school. Then Michael Jackson went and defected to their side. Brothers were out here frying their damn scalps, getting finger waves and jerry curls. And none of that shit was working. You had brothers holding up mirrors just so pretty boys could look at themselves. It was disgusting, man. If not for Michael Jordan and Wesley Snipes, I'm not sure where this shit was heading. Shortly after this scene in the movie came the final nail in the coffin. At the Soul Train Music Awards, Barry White outsang three of the most notorious pretty boys right off the stage. It was like Hercules fighting Hydra. I almost cried, man. And just like that, order was restored. What a time to be alive. But don't sleep. Light-skinned brothers still putting up numbers out here. Respect due. Nino tells G Money just how disappointed he is. They had a good thing going, and now it's all gone. All things considered, this was a good meeting. No one died. Kareem just got to learn how to write with his left hand now, but that's all. G Money did not take this well. He's slipping into darkness cause now he's headed towards being Pookie version 2.0. That crack got him. After Pookie's funeral, Stone tells the guys, well, y'all fucked that up. They got nothing to use to bring down CMB and can't make any arrest. Scotty and Peretti ain't satisfied to let things end the way that they did. They decide to continue, this time going undercover themselves. And they'd rather see Nino dead than arrested and alive. Scotty and Peretti catch Frankie out in them streets and proposition him with a deal that he can't refuse. He can help them get connected with the CMB operations as their drug suppliers, or he can die. Them's the choices, Frankie. Frankie sets up a meeting with the undercovers and G Money. The undercovers agree to supply CMB with a better deal than their current suppliers. Old sneaky G Money does an end around and wants a side cut, a deal that cuts out Nino completely. The undercovers agree. Frankie alerts his boss that Nino is soon to fall. G Money and Nino are playing ball in dress shoes. Is that a New York thing? Scotty falls through to introduce himself and gets an icy reception from Nino. Nino don't trust Scotty or G Money, considering the way that he screwed things up. Nino sends Scotty away and warns G Money that if this dude ain't legit, he's gonna kill him and G Money. Kareem tells Keisha that Scotty's looking familiar. Scotty finds himself alone with Nino. On rooftop, Nino tells him his origin story, how as a pup he ran with a crew. He recalls his initiation where he had to kill someone, but not someone in the game, just a random everyday stranger. As Nino continues to tell his story, it becomes evident that the random person that he killed happened to be Scotty's mom. This was all news to Scotty too as he heard the story. Nino was hanging out, handing out cash money to the neighborhood kids, aka his future employees. The old man from the neighborhood enters the room and starts preaching that you going to hell gospel to Nino. Nino acting all careless till the old player pulled out that Saturday night special. Scotty intercepted him just in the nick of time and saved Nino from gaining an eighth hole in his head. That brings Nino and Scotty closer, and Nino lets his guard down a bit. Scotty takes the chance to let Nino know that G Money cut a separate deal behind his back. Nino is nonchalant when he hears the news. It's apparent that G Money has been unraveling. It's a wedding, time for some love in this grim story. Keith Sweat is there, crying about something. While CMB is in attendance, Peretti breaks into Nino's place and cracks the safe. There he finds the floppy disk labeled as CMB Finances. Jackpot. Back at the wedding, Nino is having a good time. He's playing with the kids. Nino loves the kids. The band is playing, Keith Sweat still crying, catering staff delivering the food. Oh, that's not the catering staff. That's the mafia thug sent to kill Nino. Shots ring out. Nino tries to save the little sister. Wait, let me look at the replay. Oh, Nino is using the little sister as a shield. G Money and Keisha return fire. During the gun battle, Scotty's got Nino dead to rights. He could end this movie right now, but instead of shooting Nino, he returns fire towards the mafia thugs. Alright, Keisha, here's a tip. If your attackers have machine guns, don't leave cover and run out into the open. It ain't gonna end well for you. Keisha, rockabye, baby. She dead. Don't fret. The little sister is safe. She over there with Selena. In the aftermath, Selena is done with thug life. The shit done got too real. Dope boy didn't work out. Maybe she can try an athlete next. Back to the suburbs. But Selena's the least of Nino's problems now. The mafia boss playing on Nino's phone talking tall shit. Then he hangs up on Nino before Nino can get his shit off. Nino sends some shooters over to mafia territory and gets his revenge. They dead. Nino takes a shot to the head and contemplates his next move. This cat's having a rough week, y'all. Stone introduces Scotty and Peretti to the prosecuting attorney Hawkins. She claims to be handcuffed, bringing down CMB despite having quite a bit of evidence. I mean, they had Pookie wired up, capturing pretty much everything that went down in the Carter apartments. I guess they just lost those tapes. But hey, can't let logic fuck up the rest of the movie, I suppose. The DA wants Scotty to get Nino caught red-handed in a drug transaction. Scotty sets up the exchange with Nino. The parties arrive. Scotty with the drugs, Nino and Kareem with the money. Police are in place to attack. Scotty goes to show his product, and Nino is being extra cautious. As the chit-chat goes back and forth between the two, Kareem finally remembers where he saw Scotty in the past. He was not dreaming. Scotty was the undercover in the park. Kareem yells out this information and all hell breaks loose. A bunch of folk get shot up. Stone's partner gets killed. Peretti saves Scotty from getting shot by the Dudda Man. The Dudda Man? He dead. And after all that, Nino still managed to get away. We find ourselves back on the rooftop where Nino has summoned G-Money. Nino tells G-Money that he knows about the side deals and his new crack habit. He puts the blame on G-Money for introducing Scotty into their circle. He asks G-Money what the hell happened, man. G-Money rolls out his insecurities. He goes on about how they built their empire together, how he deserves some credit. G-Money wants to do a reset. Nino is not a magnanimous type of brother. He draws on G-Money. G-Money pleads for his life. Nino chooses the G-code over G-Money. Game is the game. With tears running down his face, Nino executes G-Money. G dead. Scotty and Peretti are hunting for Nino. They manage to find one kid who's not a fan of Nino, and he gives up Nino's hideout. Scotty crashes through the window and engages Nino in a shootout. When the bullets run out, the two go toe-to-toe with them hands. Either Scotty is a good fighter, or Nino can't fight for shit, cause Nino got his ass beaten down about 4 flights of stairs. Nino finds himself getting kicked down the street as the crowd cheers. Scotty reveals to Nino that it was his mom that he carelessly murdered years ago. Well, I guess now it's time to roll them credits and put a hot one in Nino. But Stone and Selena arrive before Scotty can kill him. Scotty gives in and decides to let the legal system handle Nino. So we're in court, and there's Selena on the stand looking all rat-like. The DA is there questioning Scotty about his experience while undercover working with Nino. She thinks that she's got Nino wrapped up. Nino begins to go on a rant about the inequities and unfairness of his circumstance. He throws around some street cliches and paints himself as the real victim. He does a bunch of yada yada yada. He talks about how he was forced into a life of crime, how he was ordered to commit these crimes against his will. The DA then asks him a question that I doubt any good DA would ask. She asks him who forced him to do these things. Nino then claims that Kareem was the real head of the CMB family. I guess he really don't like a pretty motherfucker. And get this, the police then just took Kareem away, based solely off of an accusation from a defendant on the stand. I'm no legal mind, but I'm not sure that's how it would work. The lawyers huddle up and break away with a deal. The judge gives Nino a slap on the wrist. This bad DA sitting over there thinking that she done really did something. Scotty approaches Nino and tosses around a couple of threats. $1 short and a second late. Should've shot his ass when he had the chance. Nino laughs in Scotty's face for being gullible enough to believe that the justice system is reliable. A proud Nino gives statements to the press outside the courtroom. Suddenly, the old man shows back up that Saturday night special and pops Nino. Nino falls over the rail. Down, 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 splat. He dead.